Welcome to SAT Prep Thursday. Today we're doing College Board SAT Practice Test number 9, Part 3. This is not a calculator approved section. Also, there's a file link in the description for this practice test. Which of the following is equivalent to 2 times x squared minus x plus 3 times x squared minus x? So let's distribute and get rid of these parentheses, giving us 2x squared minus 2x and 3x squared minus 3x. Add both of them together to get 5x squared minus 5x, which means that B is the answer. Which of the following statements is true about the graph of the equation 2y minus 3x is equal to negative 4 in the xy plane? And we can see, starting out, that they are all talking about slope, and they are all talking about the y-intercept. So we do need to figure out what both of those are. We're going to turn this into slope-intercept form by moving 3x to the other side, giving us 2y is equal to 3x minus 4. We're then going to divide everything by 2, giving us y is 3 over 2x minus 2. Now, the slope is positive, so we can eliminate whenever it says there's a negative slope. As far as the y-intercept, this is negative, so D is the answer. The front of a roller coaster car is at the bottom of a hill and is 15 feet above the ground. If the front of the roller coaster car rises at a constant rate of 8 feet per second, which of the following equations gives the height h in feet of the front of the roller coaster car s seconds after it begins up the hill? So we start by saying if we were to consider this as a y is equal to mx plus b, and b is its starting point. It started 15 feet above the ground. So I need a plus 15, but there's only one plus 15, which means that a is the answer. The equation gives the amount C in dollars an electrician charges for a job that takes H hours. Ms. Sanchez and Mr. Rowland each hired this electrician. The electrician worked 2 hours longer on Ms. Sanchez's job than on Mr. Rowland's job. How much more did the electrician charge Ms. Sanchez than Mr. Rowland? Well, the key here is that it's $75 per hour, and they did work for 2 hours longer on that job. So just by multiplying that, we get 150, so C is the answer. The circle above has center O. The length of the arc ADC is 5 pi, and x is equal to 100. What is the length of ABC? Well, if x is 100, we know that this right here is 260 degrees. Now, if we were to look at the arc ABC over the arc ADC, then we would be looking at 260 over 100. This is got to do with their angles. Now, if we're trying to find the length of the arc, that would be y over 5 pi, which means we're looking at 260 times 5 pi divided by 100 is equal to y. Now, 105 do have 5 in common, leaving a 20. We can eliminate these zeros, and then we can say 26 divided by 2 is 13. Don't forget that pi, and that is why B is the answer. If 8 over x is equal to 160, what is the value of x? Well, 8 over x is equal to 160, which is over 1. This means that I have 8 over 160 is equal to x. Now, 8 and 16 both have a 2 in common. So that can become a 1, and this can become a 20 in the denominator. As a decimal, 1 over 20 is 0.05. So D is the answer. In the equation above, A is constant. If no value of x satisfies the equation, what is the value of A? So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of these parentheses on the right side, which is going to give us a 3x plus 15 and a 5x minus 5. So when we add these together, we're going to get 8x plus 10. This is going to be equal to the left side of the equation, which is 2ax minus 15. Now, the whole key here is that no value of x satisfies the equation. So if I had something like negative 15 equals 10, this would not work. It means I can look at 8x and 2ax and try and figure this out, or more specifically, 2a is equal to 8. So if 2a is equal to 8, then a is equal to 4, so C is the answer. A system of 3 equations is graphed in the xy plane above. How many solutions does the system have? A really simple idea here. It's not whenever these things cross, it's when all 3 of them cross, which is only at this one point, so B is the answer. The equation above is true for all x, where a, b are constant. What is the value of a times b? First, let's go ahead and multiply out this set of parentheses here. This is going to give us a 5ax cubed minus abx squared plus 4ax plus 15x squared minus 3bx plus 12. This is going to be equal to the right side of the equation, where we would get 20x cubed minus 9x squared minus 2x plus 12. So on the left side of this equation, which is the top, I can look at this negative abx squared and this 15x squared. By factoring out an x squared, I would get 15 minus ab. Now, really, on the right side of the equation, I'm interested in comparing it to the term that has an x squared in front of it, which is negative 9x squared. So I'm going to set that equal to negative 9x squared. This means that I can eliminate these x squareds, giving me 15 minus ab is equal to negative 9. So let's move 15 to the other side of the equation, giving us negative ab is equal to negative 24, or a times b is equal to a positive 24. That is our answer, C. Which of the following represents all of the possible values of x that satisfies the equation above? Let's start by cross-multiplying x and 2 to get 2x, and x minus 3 times 2x, which will give us 2x squared minus 6x. So we're going to move 2x to the other side, giving us 0 is 2x squared minus 8x. Divide everything by 2 to make this more convenient, giving us 0 is x squared minus 4x. Now I'm going to use the zero product rule. I'm going to factor an x out of both of these, giving me x minus 4 inside the parentheses. So x is either 0 or x is 4, which means that B is the answer. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression above for x is greater than 0? My first key here is they all have 2x plus 1 in the denominator. So I'm going to make sure that this right term has a 2x plus 1 as its denominator. So I get 1 over 2x plus 1 plus 5 times 2x plus 1 over 2x plus 1. This means that I can say 5 times 2x, which is 10x, and 5 times 1, which is 5. Now I can combine like terms all over 2x plus 1. 10x, 1 plus 5 is 6, and that gives us D is the answer. The graph of the function f in the xy plane above is a parabola. Which of the following defines f? So all of these are written in vertex form, which means they're written as y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. And this is where h and k are the vertex. Now h and k are shown right there, so we get a 3, 1. All we would have to do is put these numbers in as a 3 and a 1. That right there is going to go ahead and give us A is the answer. In which of the following does the shaded region represent the solution to the set in the xy plane of the system of inequalities above? So we're going to start by looking at this top equation. This means that if x were equal to 0, then y would be equal to 2. So there is a 2y intercept. Now all of these have a 2y intercept. It has a positive slope of up 1. They all have that. So now really we're dealing with y should be greater than or equal to 2. So it should be shaded above this line, which means that a is no longer an answer and that D is no longer an answer. So if we look at this one right here, then we can say if x were equal to 0, then we would have 3y is less than or equal to 6, or y is less than or equal to 2, meaning this needs to be shaded beneath the line. So if this is the line right here, it needs to be shaded beneath it, where here it's shaded above, but here it's shaded below, so B is the answer. What is the set of all real solutions to the equation square root of x plus 2 is equal to negative x? Let's start by squaring both sides of the equation. This is going to give us x plus 2 is equal to negative x squared is going to become a positive x squared. Now we're going to move everything to the same side of the equation, giving us x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. This would mean that I could factor this as x minus 2 times x plus 1 is equal to 0. This shows us that 2 is an answer. This shows us negative 1 is the answer. Now what we need to do is we need to check our answers. What happens when x is negative 1? If x is negative 1, then what I get is negative 1 plus 2, which is 1. This is equal to negative times negative 1, which is also 1, so 1 does work out. But how about what happens when x is 2? Well, 2 plus 2 is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. Now, that would be equal to a negative 2, which is false. So 2 is not an answer. This allows me to eliminate that. We know that there is a solution, and the solution is negative 1, so B is the answer. What is the volume in cubic centimeters of a right rectangular prism that has a length of 4 centimeters, a width of 9 centimeters, and a height of 10 centimeters? Here we get to do the nice, easy length times width times height, which means 4 times 9 times 10. Now, this would be a 40. 4 times 9 is 36. With the 0 gives us 360, which is our answer. If x satisfies the equation above, what is the value of 2x plus 1? So we have to solve this first equation for x, which is going to give us 4x is equal to 2, or x is equal to 2 over 4, which is 1/2. Now that's the solution to the top equation, but they're asking about this equation, which means I'm going to do 2 times 1/2 plus 1, and 2 times 1/2 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. There's our answer. The figure above shows the complete graph of the function f in the xy plane. The function g not shown is defined by g of x is equal to f of x plus 6. What is the maximum value of the function g? We can see that the maximum value that occurs for f of x is 2. So we can say that f of x has a maximum value of 2. Now, g of x is equal to f of x plus 6. And f of x is 2, meaning we get a 2 plus 6, or that g of x is equal to 8. The triangle PQR has a right angle Q. If the sine of R is equal to 4 over 5, what is the value of the tangent of P? So let's start out by drawing the triangle PQR. So we have PQR. We know that Q is a right angle. We also know that the sine of R is equal to 4 over 5. So we're talking about the angle here in R. The sine of an angle is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, which means we're looking at 4, 5. This looks like a 3, 4, 5 triangle, which means that this side right here is 3. So the tangent of P would be equal to the opposite over the adjacent, meaning the opposite being 3, adjacent being 4, 3 over 4 is our answer. The graph of the linear function f is shown in the xy plane above. The graph of the linear function g, not shown, is perpendicular to the graph of f and passes through the point 1, 3. What is the value of g of 0? Let's start by figuring out actually what is the slope of f of x. Now we can see that this goes down 2 and right 1. So this f of x function has a -2 slope and a y-intercept of 3. Now this would all mean that g of x would have a slope which is perpendicular. It has to hit at 90 degrees. That is the opposite inverse of this slope, which means that we're looking at a positive 1/2 x. But we don't know what the b value is, so we can just put a plus b there. We do know that it passes through the point 1, 3. So we can substitute in the value 1 and 3 for our x and y value, giving us 3 is 1/2 x plus b. Sorry, that's not an x, that's a 1 now. So subtracting half from both sides, that's going to give us a 2.5 is equal to b.